Uncover and Elevate is the next evolution of Liberate Your People Pleaser. I'm Brenda Florida, certified life coach, and after coaching hundreds of clients, I am unapologetically clear on this. People pleasing is a symptom with a deeper cause. Being in a toxic relationship or career and feeling trapped has a deeper cause. Avoiding difficult conversations has a deeper cause. Self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, confusion, feeling insecure, all have a deeper cause. In Uncover and Elevate, we are going to look under the hood every week to uncover what the deeper causes are that shape our lives, including the ones that make breaking a pattern, even one we want to break, so hard. Then we will elevate our lives with tools designed to transform those deeper causes and deal with the symptoms. Join me each week as we uncover and elevate our lives. And now, here's this week's episode of Uncover and Elevate. All right, everybody, let's talk about thriving at the holidays. Now, I love the holidays from Thanksgiving to New Year's. I love it. My birthday's in January. I really love it all through January. And I've got 2 kids with birthdays in January. So I keep going all through January. But I love the holidays. And yet, I understand why for so many people, it's so stressful and they can really get to where they even dread it. And that is usually caused from some level of obligation to do things that are not what you would choose to do. Because if you were doing what you choose to do, you would be loving the holidays. And I say that because we are so culturally conditioned for holidays to look a certain way. And so that even of itself creates an obligation. So I'm going to use that word obligation today often and kind of broadly. So I don't just mean an obligation like your mother insists on you spending Christmas with her, or Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or, whatever the thing is. I mean, even a broader obligation of conforming to what culture considers, normal. I have several friends this year who happen to be, myself included, who happen to be having Thanksgiving alone. And there was this whole little conversation that kind of started with somebody saying, hey, am I a loser? Because I'm going to be alone on Thanksgiving, And that is very much a thought that is a natural thought that comes out of a cultural conditioning that Thanksgiving is all about, family and family being together, and we're all supposed to be loving on each other and having a good time. So then you have the families that just get together. Yes, they get together on Thanksgiving or any other holiday, and then they fight, or, you're totally uncomfortable because your family's having some racist conversation that you can't stand, or, whatever. So I want you to think about in any way that you feel like you're not thriving. Okay, that's what we want to do. We want to thrive. Thrive is very similar to the feeling of your desires. Like the way I use desire is that it's kind of an elevated way of saying, these are the things I like, these are the things I want. To me, desire is just like even like I really love them. Okay, it has that extra energetic oomph to it. Desire does to me. And thriving is very much like that. I don't want the holidays to just be okay, right? I want to thrive. And so that means emotionally, spiritually, physically. So I want to take care of my health. I want to not overextend myself. I want to do things that are fun to me. So back to my conversation about Thanksgiving and those of us who spend it alone. There is that cultural conditioning that says, well, something's wrong with that, or you wouldn't be alone. But it is just, and this is where I love the question that I use a lot in mindset work of, is that true? And when I ask, is it true? I mean, absolutely, 100%, only yes or no. So if we take the thought, I'm a loser because I'm spending the holiday, Thanksgiving, whatever day it is, alone, then the question is that true? Absolutely 100%. Well, no, how could we say that? I mean, I have another friend who last year left her Norman Rockwell looking family painting on Thanksgiving to go have Thanksgiving alone. She traveled out of town and went and did exactly what she wanted to do because she was just pissed off at her family and all the things they expected her to do to provide that Thanksgiving meal experience for them. And so she just kind of said, F it this year, I'm gonna go do what I want to do and go be by myself. So there, you're not a loser because you're having Thanksgiving alone. There's very few things in life really that we really can answer yes or no 100%. Absolutely yes or no. Now, I'm not talking about feelings, I'm talking about thoughts. So don't try to argue with, I'm sad because I'm having Thanksgiving alone. Is it true? That's not when we're using thought work, because that's a feeling. I'm sad. And that may be where, you may have experienced that. There's also plenty of people who are sad at the holidays because they don't have, a family to go to, or they not one they enjoy, or maybe they've just moved and they're feeling really out of sorts and disconnected from community or whatever, any number of things. So we're not using, always be sure that when you're thinking mindset work, that it's only a thought. You're not including a feeling, because we feel how we feel. There's nothing wrong with how we feel, no matter how we're feeling. We have feelings that will trigger disempowering thoughts, or critical thoughts, which are also disempowering. And we have feelings that can trigger joyful thoughts. Okay. But the feelings themselves are not really right or wrong. They are just an emotional response to something. So we don't ever want to cross over and end up doing mindset work on our feelings. So, and I actually have a really super tool that breaks all this down, kind of maps it out and takes you on a journey through it. And it's called the Solve It method. And maybe some of you have heard me speak on this before. It's a self-coaching process that I sort of created accidentally, just in that I started realizing I was using these same 4 things over and over and over with clients and with myself when I'm coaching myself. So the 4 things are desire. What do I really desire? Action. Am I doing that? Am I taking the action consistent with what I desire? And if not, what is that about? Why am I procrastinating, or why am I not doing what I say I want to do? Because that happens to all of us, right? Which takes us to the other 2 components of it, which are our thoughts and feelings. So whenever we're not taking action that we really want to take, we have the desire for it, but we're not doing it, then we have to go to our thoughts. And the feelings always, thoughts and feelings are kind of 2 sides of a similar coin, because you don't have one without the other. Feelings will trigger thoughts, and thoughts will trigger feelings, but we can still sort of isolate each one and work with each one individually. So if I'm not taking action towards, like, let's take a holiday example, like let's say let's say something like gift giving. Maybe you've been giving a lot of gifts to a lot of people and you want to cut back on that this year. And whatever, I'll just use the example, like we did this in my family, where at some point my sisters and I decided we would stop giving each other gifts and we would just give gifts to our children. And so maybe it's something like that, or you want to stop giving gifts at all. Like, it doesn't matter, whatever that desire is. If you have that desire where you're like, oh, that would really help me thrive this Christmas, to not have to buy all those, or Hanukkah, not have to buy all those gifts. So that's the desire, but you just don't have the conversation, right? Like, every time you think about having the conversation you would need to have with the other family members or friends or whatever to have that happen, you end up chickening out or feeling afraid you're going to hurt their feelings or disappoint them or something like that. So that's not an action problem, actually. The way we would tend to say it is, I want to change this about how I do the holidays, but I'm not doing what I need to do to change it. And so we might identify that as like a problem with, I'm not taking action. But the whole reason you're not taking action is because of your thoughts and or your feelings around it. So the thoughts primarily are usually it that sabotage us and what we're doing, that, whatever, you're being a bad person. If you decide not to give gifts, you're going to hurt their feelings. You're going to disappoint them. They're going to be mad at you, like whatever all those things are that you're thinking. That's what keeps you from taking the action, which might be to have the conversation with your siblings to stop giving gifts, or a group of friends to stop having this one party you usually do because you just don't want to do it anymore. Whatever it is, that's the thing. We can't thrive when we don't know what we desire. So that's, to me, always the first step in figuring out, even if I'm a little more tuned into what I'm not desiring, that can be helpful. But it's even better when we can tune into what we are desiring. If you feel like you're not thriving, or you classically don't thrive at the holidays because you're too busy, instead of focusing on I don't want, focus on what you desire. Oh, I do want more free time. I do want more, a more budget-friendly Christmas, right? Or whatever it is you want. And then go, okay, so now I'm clear on what I want. That's the desire piece. What do I need to do for that to happen? And then that will show you. Sometimes that's all there is. It's just like, oh my gosh, eureka, I'm going to go do that, which might mean to not do that, to stop doing something you've been doing. Super awesome. And sometimes there's no interrupters between desire and action. It's just that we haven't given ourselves permission to explore what we desire, to let that be okay. So if you need me to wave my magic permission wand, I have waved it. You have permission to do whatever makes you thrive this holiday season and every other month of the year as well. I am all about thriving. It's the same as elevating, right? We call this podcast Uncover and Elevate, because we want to uncover those things that keep us from that elevated state, or keep us from doing the things that would take us to an elevated state. So we've got to uncover what that is. If there's a problem between what I desire and me taking the action it would take to get there, that's where the thought work and or the feelings work come in, because those are the things that are then sabotaging us or tripping us up in some way. And we have to get to the bottom of those. The other thing that's super empowering with feelings is to really identify what are the feeling states I want, like thriving, for the holidays, soaring into the new year. Like I want to feel that really elevated as I, end this year and start a new year. Okay. So those are feelings I want to have. Are the things I'm planning in my day, or the things that I'm doing, are they moving me towards those feelings or away from them? Because if they're moving me away from those feelings that I've already said I want, then I need to really reconsider whether I need to be doing those things. And sometimes, we do have to do things like change dirty diapers for the baby. And you may not have a huge desire to go change poopy diapers, okay? Not everything in life gets elevated to the point of it's a desire. I still have toilets that I have to clean, and, things like that I would say I don't exactly desire. But in some situations, we could outsource those. I could hire a cleaning lady when I want to spend the money, whatever. There are plenty of things that even fall under that kind of life maintenance, things that just need to be done, the dirty diaper side of life, that we also could outsource. Or I use the 3 B's that I learned in my coach training, which is I could bag it. I could decide not to do it. But when it comes to dirty diapers and cleaning toilets, let's not decide that. But there are way more things than you think that you could actually take off your list. Just bag it. Don't do it. Nothing. You're not going to, the world's not going to come to an end. Everything's going to be all right. The sun will rise tomorrow, So there's plenty of things we get caught up into that obligation again. But I have to. Somehow that's what good people do. That's what, good girls do. That's what good boys do, whatever. So set all that to the side and decide if you really have to do it. Maybe you can just bag it. Then the other thing is barter it. Okay. So I could either just trade off or pay off somebody to do it. I go in cycles where I have my laundry done, because in my apartment complex, my particular apartment does not have a washer and dryer because it's frankly too tiny to fit a washer and dryer in here, even the stackable ones. So my complex has a, kind of a laundry facility that I can use. So I don't have to go anywhere, but I got to carry my laundry over there. It's not that close to my building, blah, blah. That's just a pain in the neck to me. I've had a washer and dryer in my home since I was 18 years old. I'm very much used to the convenience of that. But to live here 2 blocks from the beach, I chose to give that up. So I go in cycles sometimes where either I'm super busy or like when I had the shingles in the fall, where I send my laundry out to a fluff and fold service. Sure, it's a little more expensive and I don't do it all the time. I get in periods where I want to use that money for something else, and so I go back to carrying my laundry across the complex. But, there are things we could either trade off with a friend who loves to do that. Like I've done that sometimes with cooking or baking things because I love to do that and get a friend, I'll, cook a meal for them or bake their kid's birthday cake or whatever. And then they do something for me that I don't like to do because they love it, so there's the bartering or paying, outsourcing for somebody to do it. And then if you still can't do that, then I like bettering it. That's our third B. So we've got bag it, barter it, or better it. And bettering it is like what I do with my taxes every year, which is that I drink champagne, not to the point of being intoxicated. That's probably not a good combo with taxes, but it just elevates the experience of doing my taxes for me. It makes it a little more fun. I put on some good music, open a bottle of champagne and dive into the receipts, so that's bettering it. Can I just listen to music I enjoy? Can I, or maybe talk to a friend while you're doing it or whatever it is, listen to an audiobook or, whatever you have to do to make that better for you than it would be otherwise. Those are 3 really powerful moves for things that don't really, fall into the desire lineup as far as the way we're talking about desires with being that really elevated. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because not everything in life gets to rise to that level. But that's also good to know. So say, okay, maybe one reason I'm having resistance to this or I'm having trouble taking action towards it is because it's not really a desire. It's just something I need to get done. Okay, great. Let me stop the mind chatter of beating myself up for not getting it done. And then just ask myself, how can I better it, bag it, or barter it? So all of those things. So these are all tools for how to get to where we're thriving in our lives, whether it's at the holidays or any other time. So one of the things I've done to help you with this thriving part, especially right now, and that's for those of you listening to this live, because I'm publishing this episode on the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, and this special ends tomorrow night. So you are going to want to hop into the show notes or hop over to my website, my Instagram bio right away and act on this, because what I'm doing is I've taken the Solve It Method digital program, which I've had that. I usually sell that for $197. I'm offering that right now through the, Cyber Monday sort of holiday specials to only $97 for that. And it is a digital program you get to keep. You can go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. Now, what's even better than that, I decided I wanted to give a little more. And I have a VIP level where you can upgrade and add coaching to your Solve It Method. So not only do you get the Solve It Method digital program to help you with your own self-coaching, but you'll get 3 one-on-one private sessions with me so that I can help you through it, right? And help you see where you're having blind spots on things. It'll help you do it better yourself. And then you'll get the added value of working with me and having me help you with that and see the things you can't see. It's just easier for me to sort of see the blocks intuitively than you can see for yourself, because I'm not you. That's the beauty of it. And so you'll get the digital program plus 3 sessions. Well, 3 sessions would normally be $500. I'm doing it in this promotion for only $300. So for $397, you're going to get 3 sessions, 3 private sessions, plus the Solve It digital program in that VIP level. And then on top of that, I'm throwing in another thought work digital program I have that was very popular a few years ago. I haven't offered it in a while, but It's a super powerful program. So everybody in VIP is going to get that for free, just thrown in as my gift to you. So your gift to you is to invest in yourself, and give you these super practical tools for this very important activity this time of year and all of the year, really, to learn how to start choosing yourself, how to prioritize yourself so that you can thrive instead of being in survival mode, instead of being exhausted, instead of just sort of good enough, or that was fine. It was fine. Fine, it's almost worse than terrible, because terrible is at least terrible. But fine is so neutral, and it isn't doing anything. It's not terrible and it's not fabulous. So I'm not a big fan of fine, as you can tell, because I want to help you get thriving, get used to thriving, get in the habit of thriving. So go ahead and hop into the show notes, go to my bio in LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, good grief. Don't go there. Instagram, there we go. That's what that's called. Go to Instagram, hit my bio, go to my website. I've got a pop-up for it. As soon as you come onto the homepage, take advantage of this special pricing for the Solve It method. And then I would say VIP without hesitation to upgrade. I even did a payment plan on the VIP program. So super affordable. Get those one-on-one sessions. Give yourself the gift of investing in yourself and getting these tools that are going to help you with your life now and all year round. Thank you for joining me for this week's episode of Uncover and Elevate. Check out the show notes for tons of great information and resources, like if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast so we can uncover and elevate an issue in your life, just complete the form in the show notes. You can follow me on Instagram at Brenda Florida Coach. You can work with me one-on-one or get additional information about one of my group or private retreats by completing the form in the show notes. And I would love it if you would share this episode on social and tag me. I'd also love for you to post a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. It makes such a big difference and will help others find the show, and I'll be incredibly grateful. This is Brenda Florida, Certified Life Coach, and I'll see you in the next episode of Uncover and Elevate.